15 minutes ago, Claude was a genius. It understood your codebase, wrote clean TypeScript, followed every instruction perfectly. Now, it just re-imported a module it deleted 2 messages ago. It's ignoring your Claude.md rules, and it's suggesting code that directly contradicts what it wrote 5 minutes ago. You didn't change anything. So what happened? Claude didn't get dumber. You filled the glass, and everything you told it is now spilling over the edge. Here's what's really going on. Every conversation with Claude Code lives inside a context window. Think of it as Claude's working memory. Everything you've said, every file it read, every command it ran, every line of code it wrote, all of it sits in this window. The standard window is 200,000 tokens, and as of 2026, Opus and Sonnet 4.6 give you a full 1,000,000 tokens at no extra cost on Pro, Max, Team, and Enterprise plans. Sounds massive, right? It fills faster than you think. A single medium TypeScript file burns about 2,000 tokens. Read 10 files, run a few commands, have a back and forth. You've eaten 50K tokens without thinking about it. Now here's what nobody tells you. When you hit about 83% capacity, Claude Code triggers auto-compaction. It summarizes your conversation, keeping key decisions and code references, but compressing everything else. That sounds helpful, but here's the problem. By the time auto-compaction fires, you've already lost precision. The summary is good, but it's not perfect. Details slip through, instructions get paraphrased, and that's when Claude starts forgetting. It's not a bug, it's physics, and the fix isn't hoping for a bigger window. It's learning to manage the one you've got. 5 techniques. Let's go. Technique 1 is the simplest and most underused. Just type, clear. That's it. It wipes the entire conversation history and gives you a fresh context window. But here's the key. You don't use /clear when Claude starts acting weird. You use it before that happens. The rule is simple. 1 task, 1 session. Finished implementing that feature? Clear. Done debugging that error? Clear. Reviewed that PR? Clear. Don't carry conversation baggage from one task into the next. Each /clear gives Claude a fresh mind for a fresh problem. Now you're thinking, but I'll lose all my instructions. Everything I told Claude about my project, my preferences, my coding standards, gone. And you're right. If that's all you're doing, clear is destructive, which is exactly why Technique 3 exists. But I'm getting ahead of myself. There's something between keep everything and nuke everything. And that's Technique 2. Sometimes you're mid-task and the context is getting heavy, but you're not done yet. You can't clear, you'd lose the thread. This is where compact comes in. When you type /compact, Claude takes everything in the current conversation, summarizes the key decisions, keeps the important code references, and compresses the rest. Your context window usage drops dramatically, but the essential information survives. Think of it like zipping a file. The data is still there, just smaller. Remember, auto-compaction fires at 83% capacity, but the power move is running compact proactively before you hit that threshold. Here's my rule. If a conversation passes the 15-minute mark on a single task, compact. You can even pass a custom instruction, compact, with focus on the database schema decisions we made, and Claude will prioritize keeping that specific context. And if you want to tune when auto-compaction fires, there's a hidden environment variable, Claude auto-compact PCT override. Set it to 90, and auto-compaction holds off until 90%. Set it to 70 for aggressive early compression. One more thing, you can hook into compaction. If you've watched my hooks video, you know about post-compact events. You can set up a hook that automatically rereads your Claude.md after every compaction, so your core instructions are always fresh. That's how you combine techniques into a system. This is the one that changes everything. Claude.md is a markdown file that Claude reads automatically at the start of every single conversation. Every clear, every new session, every fresh terminal, Claude reads this file first. It's your persistent brain, your coding standards, your project architecture, your preferred patterns, your never-do-this rules, all of it goes in Claude.md. And here's the hierarchy. You can have a global one in your home directory under .claude for rules that apply everywhere. A project-level one in your repo root for team-wide standards. This one gets committed to Git. And here's the trick most people miss. Nested Claude.md files. Drop one inside a subfolder, and Claude loads it only when working in that directory. Your front-end folder gets React rules. Your back-end folder gets API conventions. Your test folder gets testing standards. Each context is scoped exactly where it belongs. You can even import other files using the @ syntax, @readme.md, @docspec.md, and Claude will pull those in too. One critical tip, keep your Claude.md under 200 lines. Anthropic's own data shows that files under 200 lines achieve a 92% rule application rate. Go above 400 lines? That drops to 71%. More isn't better. Precision is. The result? You clear aggressively, but your instructions survive. Fresh context, same intelligence. This is why Technique 1 works. Clear without Claude's amnesia. Clear with Claude.md is a sharp mind getting a good night's sleep. Here's where it gets wild. Everything we've talked about so far is reactive, managing the context you've already used. Technique 4 is proactive. Instead of letting Claude eat through your context window with research, file exploration, and code analysis, you delegate those tasks to subagents. A subagent is a separate Claude instance with its own independent context window. When you tell Claude, use an agent to research the authentication flow across the codebase, that research happens in a separate context. The subagent reads 50 files, analyzes imports, traces function calls, all of it in ITS context, not yours. When it's done, it returns a concise summary back to your main conversation. Your context barely moves. It's like having a research assistant who does all the reading and hands you a one-page brief. You can even specify subagent types, explore for codebase research, plan for architecture decisions. And each subagent can run in its own worktree for full isolation. The mental model is simple. Your main context is precious real estate. Don't waste it on exploration. Delegate the grunt work. Keep your window clean for the decisions that matter. Last technique, and it's the most underrated. Your mid-conversation. Claude just made a bad edit, wrong approach, hallucinated an API, whatever. Your instinct is to type, no, undo that, try again. Don't. Every correction you type adds to the context. You're burning tokens to fix a mistake and keeping the mistake itself in the window. Instead, hit escape twice or type /rewind. You'll see a list of checkpoints every turn in the conversation with file changes shown in Git-style diffs. Pick the checkpoint before the mistake and you get 4 options. Restore both conversation and code, rewind just the code, rewind just the conversation, or, and this is the hidden gem, summarize from here, which does a partial compaction from that point forward. The bad code, the wrong approach, either erased completely or compressed into a clean summary. Your context window recovers, and these checkpoints persist across sessions. Close your terminal, come back tomorrow, and you can still rewind. Combine this with everything else, Claude.md for persistence, /clear between tasks, compact during long tasks, subagents for research, and rewind for surgical recovery. That's not 5 separate tricks. That's a system. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I open my project. Claude reads Claude.md. It already knows my architecture, my rules, my patterns. I tell it to research the codebase using a subagent. My context stays clean. I start building a feature. 15 minutes in, I compact to keep things tight. Claude makes a wrong turn. Escape, rewind, try again. Feature done, /clear. Fresh session for the next task. And here's a bonus. If I need to ask a quick question mid-task, I type /btu. It opens an overlay, answers my question from the current context, and never adds a single token to my conversation history. 0 context cost. Through the entire day, my context bar never hits red. Claude never goes dumb, because I'm not hoping Claude manages its own memory. I'm managing it for both of us. And that's the difference between someone who uses Claude Code and someone who masters it. Context management isn't a feature, it's a skill. And now you have it. If you want to go deeper, I have a full video on Claude Code hooks where I show you how to automate context refresh with post-compact hooks, and another on worktrees where subagents get full repo isolation. Links are in the description. If you want more Claude Code workflows that make you dangerously productive, subscribe. I'm building a full masterclass on this channel. Next video, I'm turning Claude Code into an entire development team with custom subagents. You don't want to miss that one.